Diamond's eternal memory, baseball's most defining moments. The old leather chair in my study creaks as I lean back, surrounded by decades of baseball memorabilia and countless books chronicling America's pastime. As a sports historian who has spent 40 years documenting the game's evolution, I've come to understand that baseball is far more than statistics and box scores. It's a living repository of American dreams, struggles, and triumphs. Tonight, as I prepare my lecture for tomorrow's symposium on the most statistically improbable moments in baseball history, I find myself drawn not to the numbers, but to the stories behind them. 5 moments stand out like beacons across the decades, each representing something profound about the human spirit and our collective journey as a nation. These aren't just baseball moments, they're American moments that happen to occur on a diamond. Let me take you through each one, as I've experienced them through years of research, interviews, and an abiding love for this beautiful game. April 15, 1947. The courage to cross the line. The morning sun cast long shadows across Ebbets Field as I imagine it must have on that historic Tuesday in Brooklyn. Jackie Robinson, wearing number 42, stood at the threshold of history, carrying the weight of an entire race's aspirations on his broad shoulders. The statistics tell us he went 0 for 3 in that debut game against the Boston Braves, but statistics have never been adequate to measure the magnitude of what occurred that day. I've interviewed dozens of people who were there, fans, players, journalists, and each tells me the same thing. The air itself felt different. The crowd of 26,623 included an unprecedented number of black fans who had traveled from across the country, many spending their life savings to witness what they knew was a pivotal moment in American history. They came not just to watch a baseball game, but to witness the dismantling of a barrier that had stood for over 60 years. Branch Rickey, the Dodgers' visionary general manager, had spent 2 years preparing for this moment. His search for the right player to break baseball's color line was methodical and profound. He needed someone with exceptional talent, unshakable character, and what he famously described as guts enough not to fight back. In Robinson, a former UCLA 4-sport star and Army officer, he found all these qualities embodied in one extraordinary individual. The hostility Robinson faced was immediate and vicious. Death threats arrived by mail. Opposing players sharpened their spikes and aimed for his legs. Fans hurled racial epithets from the stands. Even some of his own teammates initially circulated a petition refusing to play with him. Yet Robinson endured it all with a dignity that transformed not just baseball, but American society itself. What strikes me most about Robinson's story is how his impact extended far beyond the baseball diamond. His breakthrough became a catalyst for the broader civil rights movement that would reshape America in the decades to follow. Martin Luther King Jr. would later call him a freedom rider before the freedom rides, recognizing how Robinson's quiet revolution on the baseball field had prepared the ground for broader social transformation. The economic implications were equally profound. Robinson's success led to the integration of Major League Baseball, which in turn caused a gradual decline of the Negro Leagues. While this represented progress, it also meant the loss of black-owned businesses and institutions that had been pillars of their communities. It's a reminder that progress often comes with complex consequences that we must acknowledge and address. Robinson didn't stop at baseball. After his playing career, he became a tireless advocate for civil rights and economic opportunity. He served on the NAACP board, participated in marches, and helped found Freedom National Bank to provide financial services to underserved communities. His jersey number 42 was retired across all of Major League Baseball. The only number to receive such universal honor, and Jackie Robinson Day is now observed annually on April 15. October 1, 1932, The Power of Myth. From the profound social transformation of Robinson's debut, we move to one of baseball's most enduring mysteries. Babe Ruth's alleged, called shot, during Game 3 of the 1932 World Series at Chicago's Wrigley Field. I've spent countless hours studying this moment, interviewing witnesses, analyzing film footage, and reading every account I can find. The truth, as is often the case with legends, remains beautifully elusive. The scene was perfectly set for drama. The Yankees led the series 2-0, and the Chicago crowd was hostile, hurling insults and debris at the visiting team. Ruth, at age 37, was in the twilight of his career, but still capable of moments that defied belief. The Cubs players were particularly vocal in their taunting, reportedly making crude remarks about Ruth's personal life and his advancing age. In the fifth inning, with the count 2-2, Ruth stepped out of the batter's box and made a gesture toward center field. Was he calling his shot? Pointing at the Cubs' dugout in defiance? Indicating he still had one strike left? The witnesses tell different stories, and even Ruth himself gave conflicting accounts over the years. What's indisputable is what happened next. Charlie Root's pitch came in, and Ruth connected with devastating power, sending the ball soaring over the center field fence, exactly where his gesture had indicated. As he rounded the bases, Ruth's grin was visible from the cheap seats, and the legend was born. The cultural impact of the called shot extends far beyond baseball. It represents the American spirit of bold self-assurance, the belief that with enough confidence and skill, any prediction can be fulfilled. During the depths of the Great Depression, when the nation desperately needed heroes who looked like they could eat despair for breakfast, Ruth obliged with theatrical flair. Hollywood has borrowed this moment countless times, using it as shorthand for supreme confidence and the power of positive thinking. The ambiguity surrounding the gesture has only enhanced its mythological power. Sometimes the most powerful stories are those that leave room for imagination. The commercial value of this legend is staggering. Ruth's jersey from that game sold at auction for over $5.6 million, and items associated with the called shot continue to command extraordinary prices. It's a testament to how sports moments can transcend their original context to become cultural touchstones worth millions. July 4, 1939. Grace under pressure. The transition from Ruth's theatrical bravado to Lou Gehrig's quiet dignity represents one of baseball's most poignant contrasts. On Independence Day, 1939, as 61,808 fans packed Yankee Stadium for Lou Gehrig Appreciation Day, they witnessed not just a farewell, but a masterclass in facing adversity with grace. Gehrig had been diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis just 2 weeks earlier, ending his incredible streak of 2,130 consecutive games played. The Iron Horse was dying, and everyone in the stadium knew it. Yet when he stepped to the microphone, initially too overwhelmed to speak, he delivered words that have echoed through the decades. For the past 2 weeks, you have been reading about a bad break, he began, his voice carrying across the hushed stadium. Yet today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. Those opening words immediately established a tone of gratitude, rather than self-pity. Instead of dwelling on his terminal diagnosis, Gehrig chose to focus on the blessings that had filled his life. He thanked his teammates, his family, his fans, and even the groundskeepers who had maintained the fields where he played. The speech lasted less than 2 minutes, but like Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, its brevity made it more powerful, not less. Every word carried weight, every pause held meaning. When Babe Ruth came out to embrace his former teammate, their long-standing feud evaporated in a moment of pure human connection that reminded everyone present of what truly mattered. Gehrig's courage in the face of ALS brought national attention to a disease that had been largely unknown to the general public. His battle with the illness, conducted with typical dignity and privacy, helped generate support for research that continues today. The disease became known as Lou Gehrig's disease in the United States, ensuring that his name would forever be associated with both athletic excellence and courage in adversity. The annual Lou Gehrig Day, observed each June 2, continues to raise awareness and funds for ALS research. It's a reminder that Gehrig's legacy extends far beyond his consecutive game streak. It's about facing life's hardest challenges with dignity and grace. September 29, 1954, Athletic Poetry. From the quiet heroism of Gehrig's farewell, we move to a moment of pure athletic brilliance that occurred during Game 1 of the 1954 World Series. The Cleveland Indians, winners of 111 games during the regular season, were heavy favorites against the New York Giants. But Willie Mays had other plans. In the 8th inning of a tie game, with runners on first and second base, Cleveland's Vic Wertz connected with a Don Little pitch, sending a towering fly ball toward the cavernous center field of the Polo Grounds. The ball was hit with tremendous force, traveling an estimated 460 feet from home plate. In most ballparks, it would have been a game-changing home run. But Willie Mays was playing center field for the Giants, and he possessed an almost supernatural ability to judge fly balls. The moment Wertz made contact, Mays turned his back to home plate and began running toward the distant center field wall. What followed was a display of athletic artistry that still takes my breath away when I watch the grainy footage. Running at full speed with his back to the ball, Mays made an over-the-shoulder catch approximately 420 feet from home plate. But the catch itself, spectacular as it was, represented only half of the play's brilliance. In one fluid motion, Mays spun around and fired the ball back toward the infield, preventing the runner on second base from tagging up and scoring what would have been the go-ahead run. The immediate impact was decisive. The Giants won the game in the 10th inning and went on to sweep the heavily favored Indians in 4 games. But the catch transcended its immediate context to become a symbol of defensive excellence and the spectacular possibilities that baseball could offer. What makes this play so remarkable isn't just the physical skill it required, but the baseball intelligence it demonstrated. Mays understood not just where the ball would come down, but exactly how much time he would have to make the catch and throw. It was a perfect synthesis of athleticism and baseball acumen that marked him as one of the game's greatest players. The play helped establish Mays as the prototype of the 5-tool player. Someone who could hit for average, hit for power, run, field, and throw. His combination of skills became the standard by which future center fielders would be measured, and the catch remains the gold standard for defensive brilliance in baseball. September 6, 1995. The Iron Man's Testament. Our journey through baseball's defining moments concludes with Cal Ripken Jr. breaking Lou Gehrig's consecutive games played record on September 6, 1995. The timing was perfect. Baseball desperately needed healing after the devastating players' strike that had canceled the 1994 World Series, and left many fans feeling alienated from the sport they had once loved unconditionally. Ripken's pursuit of Gehrig's record offered something pure in a sport that had become tainted by labor disputes and financial arguments. Here was a player who simply showed up, day after day, year after year, embodying the blue-collar work ethic that resonated with fans across America. When Ripken played in his 2,131st consecutive game at Camden Yards in Baltimore, he didn't just break a record. He provided a moment of collective healing for the sport and its fans. The game became official in the 5th inning, and when the numbers on the warehouse scoreboard changed to reflect the new record, the crowd erupted in a sustained ovation that lasted over 20 minutes. What followed was one of the most spontaneous and emotional celebrations in sports history. Ripken's teammates literally pushed him out of the dugout to acknowledge the crowd. Initially reluctant, he eventually took an impromptu victory lap around the stadium, shaking hands with fans and sharing the moment with the people who had supported him throughout his career. The streak had begun on May 30, 1982, when Ripken was a young third baseman trying to establish himself in the major leagues. Over the next 16 years and 4 months, through injuries, illnesses, family emergencies, and personal challenges, he never missed a game. The dedication required for such consistency is almost incomprehensible in modern sports, where load management and strategic rest have become common practices. Ripken continued playing for 501 more games after breaking Gehrig's record, finally ending his streak voluntarily on September 20, 1998, at 2,632 consecutive games. The number seems almost mythical, a testament to durability and dedication that may never be approached again. The broader significance of Ripken's achievement extends beyond individual accomplishment. In an era when baseball was struggling with its image, when fans felt disconnected from millionaire players and billionaire owners, Ripken represented something authentic and admirable. He was the guy who showed up for work every day, who honored his commitments, who understood that sometimes the greatest heroism lies not in spectacular moments, but in quiet consistency. The enduring legacy. As I close my research books and prepare for tomorrow's lecture, I'm struck by how these 5 moments, separated by decades, and representing vastly different aspects of human experience, form a coherent narrative about American values and aspirations. Jackie Robinson's breakthrough reminds us that progress requires courage, and that individual actions can catalyze social transformation. His legacy extends far beyond baseball, touching every aspect of American society, and inspiring generations of activists and athletes to fight for equality and justice. Babe Ruth's called shot celebrates the power of confidence and the appeal of larger-than-life personalities. Whether he actually called his shot or not matters less than what the story represents. Our need for heroes who can turn the impossible into the inevitable through sheer force of will. Lou Gehrig's farewell demonstrates that true strength lies in facing adversity with grace and gratitude. His speech continues to inspire anyone facing difficult circumstances, reminding us that even in our darkest moments, we can choose to focus on our blessings rather than our burdens. Willie Mays' catch showcases the beauty of athletic excellence and instinctive brilliance. It reminds us that sports, at their best, can be a form of art, combining physical skill with split-second decision-making to create moments of transcendent beauty. Cal Ripken's streak honors the values of consistency, reliability, and dedication to craft. In an age of instant gratification and short attention spans, his achievement stands as a testament to the power of showing up, day after day, and doing your job with pride and professionalism. Together, these moments explain why baseball has maintained its hold on the American imagination for over a century. They represent different facets of the human experience: courage, confidence, grace, excellence, and perseverance, played out on a stage that millions of people can understand and appreciate. These stories continue to resonate because they speak to fundamental human experiences and aspirations. They remind us that sports, at their best, offer more than entertainment. They provide a common language for discussing our highest aspirations and deepest values. In a nation often divided by politics, economics, and social issues, these baseball moments continue to unite us in appreciation of human excellence and the enduring power of the American dream. As new generations discover these stories and create their own memorable moments, the legacy of baseball's greatest achievements continues to grow. The diamond remembers everything: every triumph, every tragedy, every moment of grace under pressure. And in remembering, it teaches us something essential about ourselves and the values we hold dear. Tomorrow, I'll share these stories with a new audience, watching their faces light up as they hear about Jackie's courage, Ruth's audacity, Lou's grace, Willie's brilliance, and Cal's perseverance. And I'll be reminded once again why I fell in love with this game. Not because of the statistics or the records, but because of the stories, the human stories that make baseball America's most enduring and meaningful pastime. The numbers may fade, the records may be broken, but the stories, these beautiful, improbable, essential stories, will live forever in the heart of anyone who has ever loved this game. They are the true treasures of our national pastime, more valuable than any trophy or championship ring, because they remind us of who we are and who we aspire to be. In the end, that's what baseball gives us. Not just entertainment, but inspiration. Not just statistics, but stories. Not just games, but glimpses of greatness that remind us that even in our ordinary lives, we can achieve something extraordinary if we have the courage to step up to the plate when our moment comes.